He doing it all too.
I'm swagged up, you know. And we're gonna be talking about how to talk to everybody out there.
When you ready to bring them in?
We're gonna do that. All right, so listen, let's see. Y'all screen, y'all see, y'all pretty selves on them. So we got the intimate group. This is a seat at the table. We got the production going on.
We got some students that's here today.
Yeah, we do.
I know you're gonna bring it today, but I'm waiting you all.
I hope so. I'm gonna end this live though, guys. All right, let's see how you end this thing. Man, that was my first or second live. Sure, I don't want to share.
Give me that.
Oh, he's my good. My guy.
Good. Guys, I feel that people always say that we are the last to go to get information or make a decision to make our life better. But you guys actually showed up on today, so that speaks a lot. You can do anything on a Saturday evening, but you're here this evening to get that knowledge and learn.
Absolutely. Yeah. What JC said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me.
Yes.
I appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Like I said, we want to inform you of this strategy that we have. I have my guy Steve from Cincinnati, Ohio, come all the way down here. Flew down here yesterday, right? Turning like a... Yes, sir. So far, Steve, what have you learned here in Houston? I know it's two phrases. You got it. You don't what? You don't leave? Go ahead and finish that for me. It's a quiz, it's an H-Town quiz. This is the first time in Houston.
You don't leave Houston on Sunday.
Straight up.
I want to hear that.
All right. You
You
don't
want to
leave
get
Houston on
Wait,
Sunday.
hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So Steve, we're going to redo this.
Yes.
So Steve came all the way down here from Cincinnati, Ohio, right? One of my guys. You'll learn more about him later. But he just touched down on Friday and he learned something. So two things, all right? The first thing you learned was?
Well, you don't leave on Sunday. The second thing,
This is the first thing. You don't leave what? You don't leave.
you don't leave Houston on Sunday.
And the second one, let's go for the second one.
No.
What's the second one?
Houston ain't real.
Houston's not a real place.
It's not a real place.
Well, Anthony, can you please explain why not to leave Houston on a Sunday?
Oh,
Yeah, quiz
Well,
him up. I like that. Quiz him up.
I didn't realize that's when the weekend starts. Brunch rolls into happy hour, and happy hour, that's awesome.
And we call that
Is that right?
what do we call that?
Oh, we call it
Sunday.
Fun Monday.
Sunday fun.
Sunday fun.
Sunday fun.
So,
Well, yeah, Sunday turns
Most of your
into
students
Monday.
don't retain
Sunday turns into Monday.
Facts.
Okay.
I taught them.
We go teach them today. I hope y'all write down. Y'all got
That's what you
pens?
said.
If you have a pen.
Yeah, we do have, get some pens. If not, we can get some of the late staff to get information.
Or I told him, no, he got it right because Sunday turns into Monday.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. She said Sunday turns Monday. Yep.
He was taking notes, Anthony.
He was taking.
You move those waters out the way.
He kept on saying.
Move those waters out the way.
Houston's not a real place.
So, Pasha's going to get pens. I gave you guys a packet, and they have some notes there. So, first things first. We want to talk about. We want to get right into it. We don't like to waste no time. All right, we did the mingling and stuff. Y'all got some good food. Everybody over there eating. So, Cindy's still over there eating. I see that. So, hopefully y'all food is digesting. We're gonna go ahead and give y'all some information today. So, man, Steve, first of all, thank you for coming out.
Hey, Anthony, great to see you again.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
After this event, he's gonna go to my son's football game. He's gonna witness some HBCUs. We're recognizing him today.
I love it.
Because Houston is what?
Not real.
Not a real place.
You want to song. But
That's
get
a
right
song
into it.
now, right?
That's just, well, Beat King had it on the shirt. I talked about Beat King, y'all.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm teaching you. You gotta know.
Yesterday, today.
It's on a t-shirt.
And forever.
Not a real place.
Who said that? Who said
Get
that?
us to
Yeah, they're
Anthony.
bringing pens.
Get out the Anthony.
Okay, so they're gonna bring some pens. All right, I gotta put this on me. What I do to it? Put it on my.
Yeah.
Put it on your sexy shirt.
I don't know how to do that. Wardrobe. All right, so we're gonna get right into it before I was sidetracked on my own. I get sidetracked a lot, okay, y'all? So yeah, they keep me on point. Especially probably she mentioned my mom or big sister or something. I don't know.
I'm everything.
Oh, you know, that's
I'm
her
every
problem.
woman.
I'm everything.
All right, so Steve, thanks for coming out, man. So those who follow me know that I had a conference this June called GOW, Gems of Wealth. Everybody know I be dropping gems for free, million dollar gems for free. And so that was the first live event, and it was great. And so Steve had his partner Matt to come down. And so some of you guys that went to the GOW conference, you guys remember Matt. So Steve, we want to get right into it. We want to talk about mortgages. I feel like, it's a lot of things that they don't want us to know. Banks don't want us to know when it comes to mortgages. So I'm going to let you just lace us up and then have Sean and Sean, you want to say something?
Yeah, we have a question from Steve. Can you just kind of give us a little history about how did you get to this stage? What inspired you to educate people like us about being in a short period of time?
Yeah, great question.
That's Steve.
You know, over the years, I've owned homes for many years over time, and so I just owning homes over the last 35 years, it just didn't seem right on having this low payment for 30 years. You know, it was a way for the building industry and the banks to make a lot of money at the end of the day. You know, and you could say, were they doing a good thing for us? Sure, because they were getting people in homes, and I get that. But, you know, over the last 5 to 8 years, Matt Evans, my partner, and a group of guys, I like saying, hey, this is what the banks do. Let's re-engineer. Why are they building mortgages to where the principal and interest for the first 10 years, you're paying on what? Interest, right? And then that last 8, 9 years, it's finally going to principal. Well, heck, by then you're 25 years into it. So we reversed engineered it. Okay.
Reverse engineer. I don't think that. See, you don't be talking that stuff like that. Sometimes you don't be talking. You gotta talk that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You don't like that?
Be cursing.
You like that reverse engineer?
Reverse engineer. You like that?
Also, not to be in church here, but also a renewing of your mind. Looking at something differently and saying, hey, just because I was taught this all these years, is it necessarily right? There's other ways to do things. So when we examine the mortgages and say, hey, can I compress that mortgage down to 5 or 7 years? You know, yep. So to ask, does that help you kind of show the story of why we re-engineered mortgages and kind of looked behind the covers and said, how can we flip the script to help us in this room and put so much money in the banks in Wall Street and the builders.
Yes,
right? Does that answer you?
Yes,
I
sir.
got a question. Real quick.
Yeah.
I want to dive into this thing a little bit too. Once we save that money, where we gonna put it?
Oh.
Where we grow. Because saving money is great.
Y'all looking at me?
But I can save money with coupons, but if I don't know, so the thing is, a lot of times, especially in our culture, it's not about getting the money, it's about what do you do with it? Because you can have $100,000 and not know what to do with it, or do the wrong thing with it, so that's important.
That's a good question. That's a great question. And I tell you what, we're not only going to help you reduce your mortgage somewhere between 5 to 7 years, okay, and get your equity built up a lot quicker. That money that you were paying into your mortgage for 25, 30 years, okay, we're going to redirect and put that in an investment vehicle, okay? And there's multiple investment vehicles out there that we use. Hey, the market, Wall Street, is like this, right? And there's a place for that, but you gotta have different buckets for your money, okay? You can't rely on one. You gotta have different buckets. Your equity and your mortgage is one bucket to build wealth, right? Because once we pay off your mortgage, you have access to that equity to do what?
Reinvest.
I heard you said to invest, do flips, real estate, right? So, we're building that bucket up to do other things with it. But we got to get on a program first to get you there. And that's what the Mortgage Free Life software does.
I'm going to say a quote. All my people. Whether it's sunny or gray, we're going to do what?
Ball and parlay.
Ball and parlay. Whether it's sunny or gray, we're going to ball and parlay. Let me tell you something. I'm very intentional with the words I use. If I'm playing around with you, I'm playing around with you so you can remember. Okay? So ball and parlay, think about it. That's the strategy, okay? So I'll speak to that a little bit. It's all about reintegrating, like you said, reinforcing, reinvent, and just redoing the things that we were taught. I tell people all day I have this guy that I mentor. He picks you up from the airport, Kevin. And I've been mentoring Kevin for a long time. I can't even remember. I think he said it's been like about 19 years. No, my daughter's 19, probably 20. So yeah, about 17, 18 years. And the first thing I told him, I said, man, if I'm gonna be mentoring you, you're gonna have to unlearn everything that you learned so far. You're gonna come with me. Right? Jesus said the same thing. He said, I'm gonna make you fisher of men. And I'm fishing for food. I'm gonna make you fisher of men. So every time that there was a new insurgence in anybody's life that was catastrophic, that had to be a rebirth. Okay? Understand that. And so the first thing is you got to know that they don't. Pasha, you want to say something?
So when it comes to people really understanding if you had like one or two things, that you see consistently with people who don't know, what are those two things, like the mindsets?
Yeah, I mean the first thing is mindset. So you kind of hit the nail on the head. The first thing is mindset. You have to be able to change your mindset because, like Steve said, you can get $100,000 and not know what to do with it, or you can get $100,000 and flip it to $1 million. I mean, everybody in here, if you've been working for longer than 20 years, you've seen more than $1 million. You just like see it at the same time. And then you call yourself rich when you see it all at the same time, not when you've earned it in your lifetime. Earning $1 million ain't nothing. It's the speed in which you do it by. And so there has to be a renewing of your mind, because the first thing about the mindset is to spend and save. You don't save to save, you save to invest. You have to save to invest. And so you pair that with the number one thing. I put this post out a couple of days ago on IG. The biggest payment that a family has is their what?
Mortgage.
Their mortgage. The only thing that tops that is if you're an entrepreneur and you put hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions into opening up a business. That's it, but that's not everybody. So the most common person is gonna have what? A mortgage. Or they're gonna be paying somebody else's mortgage through what is called rent. And so at the end of the day, if you learn to leverage that, I bought my first house when I was 21. And for 2.5 years to 3 years, Eric can tell you. So Eric, raise your hand real quick. So Eric is my cousin, not by blood, but we went to church together. And how many of y'all know that when you go to a church, you see your church folks more than you see your real family? So Eric is about with me, man. I don't know, maybe about 6, 7 years old or something. Way back. And that is, I was buying houses in areas that I knew had to come up economically, and when it did, I could get a bigger house. And I did that until my kids needed more stability. So when they were younger in preschool and stuff like that, my ex-wife didn't work, so she stayed at home. My mom was living, her mom was living. We just had a support group to where I wouldn't be, they wouldn't be affected. And so I stopped doing that strategy with my personal homes by the time they got into middle school, because then I needed them to, be socially stable, and I couldn't keep on moving around with houses. But by that time, I had bought and sold 4 houses. So that's the basic example of how you use equity to promote the next phase of your lives. And so that's what we're teaching here. I don't want to be the only person talking. I'm going to Steve, you want to say something?
One more thing before we go. We want to be intentional with our words, because you said spend, you were investing. And that's another thing. When you first start to change your mindset, you got to change your words, because your words are so common to you, and they're your default words.
Y'all can do that.
So next time you go to do anything, you got to ask yourself, what's my ROI on this investment? I don't care if it's a meal, beverages, clothes. Like for me at this point, I own a clothing brand, right? And I'm a brand strategist. So my clothes are a part of my business, but that don't mean go crazy. So I also, because we're spirit led with this thing, I asked God to give me godly wisdom in my investing, the things that I'm investing in. And that was one of the parts of me changing my mindset, because I did come from a family that have that lack stronghold. And some of us do. It's a lack stronghold that may be over your family. So you got to start to change your mind and change your words.
I love that. Just to add real quick, please.
And I have a question for you guys move on. You mentioned something early on that I want to piggyback on. Is you said that our parents or grandparents lied to us. So do you think they intentionally lied to us about the system, or they just passed down something that they knew of, right, to teach us?
It's the latter. So when I say they, it's a pronoun, and I mean that the banks and the government. They lie to us. They lie to our grandparents too and our parents. And so they end up passing down lies to us through generational curses, but not intentionally.
Okay.
But the banks have intentionally lied to us because we're going to get a little bit deeper. Thank you for bringing it out. So a lot of people don't understand how banks work. So banks is nothing but a storage unit. Okay, so picture this room. If everybody came in and they had a separate drawer in these walls, so let's say that every piece of tile was a little smaller and there was a little drawer, a little cabinet, just like you would put for a sock drawer, and it would have your money in it, right? And what they do on the back side of this wall is take the money out. Okay, they get to take 90% out. And then they get to keep 10% for you in case you want to pull that drawer back out and get, $300 out, this and that. But if you put in $3,000 in, whatever 90% of that is, I think it's $270 if my mental math is serving me correct. But $2,700 will go out the door for the bank to lend to Steve. Okay? So, y'all got that? All right, I'm gonna break it out even more. So, let's say, I'm gonna get up on this. I like to preach. So, let's say that this was your drawer. You pull your money out, right? On this side, you got $300 after you put $3,000 in. Somebody came out and put $2,700. They had a Chase Bank shirt on. I don't know why the word comes in. And then they came in and they had a big old poster on the glass when you first come by the bank that said, loans for up to $60,000, 7.9 interest rate, starting there. And so they take that same $2,700 that I put in, leave me $300 in case I want something back tomorrow, and they lend it to him. And they lend it to Steve. Steve pays interest on that for 5 years. So Steve is gonna pay 10 to 15 times more than that $2,700 depending on his interest rate, okay? And then that's how every cabinet on this wall is operated. When you learn that, you get educatedly mad. You get mad, but then it's not a mad where you want revenge, it's a mad where you're saying, wow, I'm glad I learned today. And that's how banks work. And so if you understand that they lied to you, because see, what they do is they try to tell you that you need to keep your money safe, okay? And then you can come and borrow money from them. But how many of y'all tried to send Zelle? I know me, I send a lot of Zelles and even Cash Apps. I think Cash App be capping me at $20,000 a week. If I spend more than $20,000, then okay, you can't do anything till next week. So now I do businesses. I don't have no personal accounts. Just so y'all know, all my accounts, all my bank accounts are business accounts. Okay, I have 11 LLCs.
Wow.
Because if anything happens, like the IRS or anything like that, I'm protected.
No, I'm serious. Like, you have to tell them why.
Basically, I keep everything in my business name because it's protected that way. Okay. Escorts, LLCs, and trusts. So back to what I was saying about the lending. So the banks are gonna take your money, lend it out, make that much more money, and then try to disguise it that they're trying to hold your money, and that they're FDIC insuring it when they can just print it. Okay, I just printed these up to this morning before I came. If I had the authorization, it could be money. So really, it's not FDIC insured. It's like, oops, somebody got them through fraud. And we want them to continue to be our fools by putting money in this cabinet, so we better print some more money for them so that they don't realize the loss. And so that's how banks work. And so that starts off with you gotta know that to know they lying to you. If you don't know they lying to you, then you think that you think you're the best person. I don't keep no more than $250,000 in each bank either, because that's all the FDIC insured. The rest gonna be in investments. So that's another thing. Don't be keeping no $1 million in no damn bank account. For what? So they can go borrow it? You can't even get it out the next night. Right? Bowers a millionaire. Could you go get $1 million out of the bank?
No, sir.
I did. I remember he had to get $100,000 for something we was doing. He had to fly all the way to San Diego just to get the $100,000. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, when you gonna get the money? I gotta fly out there. All right, man, when we come with you now, I'll go by myself. So you want to be able to diversify and do those things. I hate you got to diversify.
Yes, sir. Well, how did you find out all this information? You get through research, or you on a journey?
Trial and error.
Okay.
Trial and error. I was the first person in my family to make some money, so when I made money, I didn't really know. I knew what to do with it, but it was saving. And then I didn't know how much it was going to cost me. Money costs you to hold. Did y'all know that? To hold money, it costs you. I'm almost going to pull Bob from behind the screen because he just got so much knowledge when it comes to finances and stuff. So me and him from the same place. Y'all can't see him though. Me and him from the same place. We're from the same hood and we didn't grew you know, and so we had to learn things the hard way because we first generation, you know, we the first gen. I'm just saying the first gen because we recording. So we first gen in our family, and I just learned the hard way. You know, anything that I teach or preach is gonna be something I went through. It ain't gonna be nothing I heard unless I give you that disclaimer and tell you, I heard this, so I don't know. And then I'm gonna be profusely telling you that too. I'm gonna tell you about 5 or 6 times that I don't know. But if I'm standing bold on something, it's because I'm standing on business. I did it myself, so I just learned the hard way. What do you think?
How we pay off the mortgage?
There it is. There it is. So in your packet, go ahead and tell them what to turn to. Turn to Isaiah 43.
You gotta say amen.
Yeah.
House up at the top left, it says Mortgage Free Life. That's the name of the software company we developed. We've got hundreds of customers that are thrilled to be in it. They've been through successfully. But, you know, this takes a couple times, guys, to go through it. I mean, you're going to walk away like, man, I get it, but how did that work? So, you know, we'll get on a Zoom, we'll meet, you know, and we'll take our time with you, okay? Because it's, like I said, we're doing what? We're re-engineering. We're doing something different here. This is all legit, it's all legal, there's nothing fancy here, okay? But this example, we have a client, a sample customer, that has a house that's worth $530,000. The current balance is $270, right? The interest rate's actually pretty good.
Hey, and when you say
Question.
worth, is that what he paid for?
Appraised that right now. That's the word.
Is that what he paid?
Yeah.
Or is that when you say worth? Like, is that what he paid when he purchased the house?
So he's talking about the fair market value.
Yeah, the fair market value.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the appraised value. The difference, that's the word. Everybody know what equity means? The difference between what you had, what the property is worth and what you owe. So in his case, he's saying that the current balance is 270. So when you do the math, how much equity? The difference between 270 and 535 is Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. So, yep, very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip the script. Okay, we're going to put a second lien HELOC on it. I'm not going to. Okay, you can YouTube it. 90% of YouTube's good. Some of it's going to say HELOC stinks.
I'm going to break it down. So I'm going to be interrupting every now and again to make an equity line of credit. Okay, so anybody ever wanted to fix up their house, or anybody know anybody like grandparents, or maybe an auntie had to fix up their house? So you do that by the equity in your house. So the difference. So if you give the example that Steve has here, if you give that a quick glance, you see the first line says 530,000, right? Everybody see that? And that's that fair market value. We just got done saying that that's the appraised value. That's how much it's worth. If they were to sell it tomorrow, they can sell for 530, but the balance is 270. So the difference, which is that equity, is what he can give you a loan for to improve the property. Some people use it to put gutters on the property, paint the property, get the property back up, but you can use it however you want. You don't have to use it on the house. Okay, so you can use it to funeralize somebody. You can pay for tuition, that sort of thing.
That's right. Good. So what we're going to do is we calculate. It's very important. If you take out a loan, they're going to what? They're going to want, you know, your 1040 forms, space, you know, pay stubs. They're going to analyze everything, right, to give you a loan. We do the same thing here. We have banks that we've got approved that works with our software. Okay. If you guys can capture this is really, really important. In this example, this client makes $10,000 a month. You see it right there, halfway down the page. Their expenses is $6,000, right?
So we're looking at net monthly income, which is about the third or fourth line from the first spreadsheet.
So this client's mortgage is fairly low. We got it in here as in its example, but it's $1,396 a month, right? Okay. So what the bank wants you to do is just pay us $1,396 for 30 years. They're like, we're good, you're good, it's a low payment. See, they're tricking us. They want us to get a low payment, and we're like, yeah, we have more money to spend, or we have more money to do other things with, which is kind of dangerous, actually. But what we're trying to do is the banks want us to pay the $1,380, $1,390.
Minimum payment.
Okay, the minimum payment, and then take the difference, which is like, you know, 8 or 9 grand, stick that in the savings and checking account. Okay, and by the way, that if you put money in your checking and savings, it just sits there, then the bank takes it and loans it back out to your neighbor. Okay, and the bank's making 8%, and they're giving us 1/4%. Hello? Come on.
So let me interject. So this is the time that we coin another phrase. Y'all ready for my colloquialisms? BYOB. Be your own bank. That's what he's getting ready to explain. BYOB. Be your own bank.
That's right. So what we want to do is we want to take that 10 grand every month and stick it in one checking account with our HELOC bank. Okay? We want to keep that 10 grand.
Let me say something too. Okay, with my HELOC bank is what he said, right? So basically, you got to think about it. I just said Chase, Wells Fargo, whoever, right? I said Chase an example, but Chase, Wells Fargo, all of them. That's an institution, right? That's a bank. So when you put your money in their bank, they get to do what I told you. They can lend out. It's called fractal lending, okay? Meaning that I get to leave a fraction of the money for available funds, but the rest I get to lend out to other members. When you sign up for your account at any bank, you become a member of that bank. You in a cult. You in an organization. We in so many different secret societies we don't even be knowing. Right. I'll just straight up and tell you, you dealing with me, you dealing with a secret society. But most people don't, most companies don't. Eric can tell you, I'm like, hey man, you rolling with me. So, same thing with my inner circle. So, with that being said, you have to think about when he start talking about, when he get the mic back and start talking about the HELOC bank, understand that he's just talking about a regular bank that just does mortgages though. They don't lend on cars. They don't allow you to, you know, do CDs or anything like that. So, again, this is a regular bank with a checking savings and a HELOC. Okay, we're going to take a bank with him.
And we have approved the banks around the country that are great, and we work with people every day. And they do a great job. The key though is that $10,000 sits in that checking account for 29 days. It presses down on the interest. Do you guys know that an amortization table charges you interest every day? Mm-hmm. Everybody know that? So if you had a mortgage and you called them up in 4 years and say, you know what, I'm selling my house, what's my last payment? Or what do I owe you? They go back and calculate every day what that interest is, and let's say you're closing on the 16th of the month. So they're going to 16 days of interest. Yeah. Okay, literally. I mean, it's so.
This is so good. When
I see my money every day get charged an interest on top of my money, I'm like, dude, I don't like that, because, you know, it's like credit card interest or credit card debt. You're trying to reduce that, right? Right? No different. That's what we're trying to do here. So if you can catch this concept, we want to take the 10 grand and let it sit on that interest on a daily basis. It sits and it knocks that interest down on a daily basis. On the 29th day, all right, we're going to pay that, in this scenario, $6,000 of expenses. Your food, your gas, whatever your expenses are. You want to, ultimately what we'd like you to do is stick that on one credit card and then write a $6,000 check on the 30th day of the month.
So let me say this. Very good. My God. I love that piece right there. I have to talk that up. Yeah. So basically we talk about relearning. Okay, so let's make it make sense when it comes to everyday checking accounts, right? Because I think that's the best way to kind of drive the point home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you know, we talk about these scenarios all the time. If you go to Chase Bank, I'm stop picking on Chase Bank to have my account there. But
yeah, they're all good banks.
Yeah, they good. They just
we got to outsmart them, and we can.
There you go. They're not for the people. Yeah. We for the people. Do this. So listen. So when you go to a regular checking, when you go to a regular bank, you have a checking account. That money just sits until you spend it, right? It's not accruing interest, but it is accruing interest. They just lied to y'all. They accruing interest on the backside. Remember, this is the wall that you pull from in your bank account. And then you got the service wall behind. This kitchen runs behind this wall. So let's say that the bank was coming in and just taking stuff out, and they were just making interest here and there between all of us. That's what he's trying to do. Well, that's what he's doing with this bank. So now you're gonna reinvent the way that you bank. So if you make $10,000 a month, have y'all ever noticed that when y'all do what is it? I've had a job. What is it called? Deposit. Direct deposit. So when you do direct deposit, do you know that you get a cheaper checking account monthly? What they call it? The monthly bills, whatever. Whatever. But yeah, you pay monthly dues less, or it'd be free. Why? Because they are commanding you softly. Just like if the police say, "Can you get out the car?" No, I can't, because you asked me. So I recognize right there it's playing with me. Right? So the same thing with the banking, right? So they want you to directly deposit so that you don't have time to sit back and get your check from a bank and then say, okay, I'm gonna put $3,200 here, $400 here, 80 in my pocket. My daughter want 100. My son want 100. So you want to do all that? They want to do that for you. So what he's saying is direct deposit to the banks that he's approved. And the banks that he's approved, by the way, are for the people. See, I be playing, but I be serious. It's for the people, it's for us. So those particular banks will hold the money and it will accrue interest like the other banks that that's not doing, not working to our benefit does.
Yeah, great. So what's the math between 10 grand and your expenses of 6? In our example here, it's 10.8 versus 6. That's $4,800, right? Think about this, guys. Every month, we are leaving the $4,800. The difference between expenses and something, right, is $4,800. Every month. Let's make math easy. 5 grand, because I can do that quicker. But 5 grand a month after 10 months, that's 50 grand we just put down on principal. Hello? Does that make sense? Are you kidding me? If we were doing a regular mortgage, it would take 4 or 5 years to get to 50 grand in equity. We just did it in 10 months.
Come on.
Can you get that? If you get that right there, I tell you, I want to jump
Drop
off.
the mic.
I mean, it is revolutionary.
He said, don't drop it.
Yeah. If you catch that right there, you got it. Now, there's a lot more to understand, and I get it. We'll meet several times and go over. But if you can just catch that concept, see, what we're doing is we're controlling the narrative, not the bank.
Yes.
Meaning,
like that's gangster. Say it again.
huh?
That was gangster.
We're going to control the narrative. We're building our own bank. We're building our own wealth. We're not listening to the banker anymore. We're not listening to Wall Street anymore.
Come on.
We are intelligent enough to re-engineer this and do it the right way that benefits us, not Wall Street. Okay? If you can grasp that. The problem is we all grew up, right?
Institutionalized.
Institutional. Oh, wow. Corporate. Institutionalized. However you want to say it. And that's a good thing. That's why I think America is one of the greatest countries in the world, right? Because we do have systems, and we do have, and it works, okay? And you travel around the world, we got a great country. I'm not bashing the country. I'm just bashing the financial behind the covers. And now, by the way, the banks and contractors did a great thing for the baby boomers. Most of us in here are on the tail end of the baby boomers, I think. I mean, you're probably not, but some of us aren't, some of us aren't. What the baby boomers was what? They needed a home. Hey, I get it, right? So, but now we're more in heck with that. I don't have time to make changes because it is a mindset set, right? It takes mental capacity to say, you know what, dang it, I'm going to figure this out. And a lot of people are so into the routine in life, they don't want to change, right? So I compliment you guys to do it. This will change your life. It really will. So you can kind of
And your bank account.
And your bank account.
Two things. One is basically the system is antiquated. It has not evolved.
We use a big
Ooh,
word.
I like that. Go.
We're gonna get a shirt antiquated.
The banking system that we know today is antiquated, and so, but the world has evolved. So that's how you can look at this thing.
Yeah, it's good.
The information that they gave you, your grandparents and parents, the ones that didn't know, is antiquated. That's it. So my question is, when you're saying to put everything on the credit card and then pay it on the 29th, because we have bills at different times of the month. So we saying get a business credit
Well,
card.
great question.
Okay.
The banks we use they will give you a debit card, and you can just stack everything on that. Okay. Or you can get your own business card or your own Visa. There's nothing special about it. But some utility companies, for example, don't like to use visas, right? They're like, I want to use your checking account. Is that, you know what I'm saying? To your point. So that's why we'll go ahead and use the bank's debit card, which is the same thing as a checking account.
Okay.
So there is, I've had customers come back and say, Steve, I can't, you know, I got bills coming out this month, this day, because I got to use my checking account. So then that's when we met with the banks and said, hey, we got to get it to where we can use a debit card, makes sense like a checking, right? So that we can target, everything we can do is target to pay one time a month. And we figured it out. There's ways to do it.
And another thing too, a lot of people don't know, but you can call your credit card companies, and I know my banks ask me what day I want to pay my bill. So I tell them.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Nothing. So I be vacation a lot too. So sometimes my mind will even be on certain stuff. So you have to you can get your own due dates.
Yeah. You know what the number one thing you hear about you know my internet is too high. What's everybody tell you when your internet sneaks up to, you know, hundreds of hours a month? You know, what do they tell you?
You don't need it.
No, I mean, everybody has to have internet in their house or cable or whatever, but you pick up the phone and call them and say, you know what, I'm going to move my internet to ABC Company.
Oh yeah, we'll drop it for you for a month.
It works every time. My point is,
Retention. They have a retention.
we grew up never to challenge the system.
Come on.
Hello?
Come on.
Now we call the internet and cable companies and say, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going from here to here. You guys all do that. If you don't do that, do it. Every year or two, do that and you'll save 30-40%.
I was charging my car the other day, the branch manager at my bank.
Yeah.
He was he got a Tesla too, so he was charging his car. He was like, man, I haven't seen you in the branch in a long time. I said, man, I moved my money for y'all. I'm gonna keep like a couple $1,000 in there because he pissed me off. You know, they closed one of my accounts because of an address or something, and it was some crazy stuff. And I pulled my money, and he was just like, man, give us another shot. So when you start to know your rights, they start to. A lot of times, especially
It's
in
like
black
a
community.
relationship.
Yeah.
It's a relationship.
In my relationship, she says yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you in a heartbeat.
Yep. Are you single?
That's why, because I don't put up with no bullshit.
I don't even call them to tell them pushing. I call them to tell them I'm shopping around.
That's good.
And then they like, yeah, like, we gonna call you on Wednesday with a new deal. I'm like, okay. That's what
I
my
never
shopping.
tried. That's good.
Yeah, I'm just shopping. I just want to know where.
Sometimes I
what you
be a
have
little
to pay.
more. That's certain.
You can.
So,
When they know that you're even anticipating, a lot of these companies, they will give you the best deal.
You got a question over here?
yeah, I was just gonna say, so I'm fixing to leave it. Okay, for instance, for me, if I want, like today, I'm like, okay, I want to join this. You take my mortgage, and what do? I give you the name of my bank, and you take over.
Okay.
I want to
Great
know.
question.
Great.
So we will sit down and do an intake form. Okay, I'll take all the data down. What is your mortgage interest rate payments? We'll talk about your expenses versus income, right? Because that's
So we
ratio.
include all credit cards too? Or
Oh
no?
yeah.
Really?
You know, I mean, hey, I can only help you so much. My meeting is 5-10 minutes. The intake form.
Oh, okay.
What I do is I set up a bank appointment immediately.
Okay. Is your
Because-
number on there? Because some people.
I'll set it up.
Okay, great.
We'll have an intake meeting, okay, 5 or 10 minutes. I'll take the data down. You got a pen right there?
Yeah.
I will take your data down. I'll send it to the bank. As I send it to the bank, I'm on their calendar link, and you and I are saying what date next week works.
Okay.
Boom, we hit the calendar link. I can only do so much. We got to get the bank to approve you. So let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay? I have clients from our meeting in June that wanted to do business with us. Are you out of here, by the way?
Yes.
I
I put my
We got
number.
Cindy information. Thank you, Cindy.
Love it.
Thanks, Cindy. We can help you.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Okay. So what we're going to do is set that bank appointment up. Okay? And just like any mortgage that you've done in the past, they want everything. There's no difference. Right? And I had a guy back in June that wanted to do this, desperate, him and his wife. But their credit score came in at 600. Okay. So we need a good credit score, right? These banks that are willing to do this aren't stupid, right? We don't want to go upside down. We need to really be, it's not ready to go there. Thank you. And I said, let's put a plan together to get that
One of the guys.
to come here and, I said, how's, him and his wife are working hard, right? So what do you do? What keeps your credit score to knock it out? Let's come up with a plan. We got to drive Uber. We got to wait at a restaurant at night. Whatever it takes to get your credit score is worth it, right? Let's not just
they'll get their credit score for a new car. So
Yeah.
our culture. So
Good point.
they can do that to realize a new future. I'm gonna say this too. One of the things that we talk about when we talk about parlaying, because it's one thing to get rid of your mortgage. It's another thing to exercise it, to invest it. So let's talk about
that. Yes, sir.
So
So you guys, I'm sorry, you got the concept. You got a question?
Question, so is it a certain balance on the mortgage that you work with, or is it any?
No.
so they can do purchases too. This don't have to be a refinance.
So I've done the mortgage. They threw a car in for 20 grand. They threw a second, a 2-family investment property. So I've got a client right now that's got a $30,000 car he threw into this to refinance in this. Okay.
So hold on. Throw in two. Let's talk about it. You want me to say? Okay, so throw in two. You correct me. So when he says throw in two, what he means is, let's just do the math. The difference between 530 and 270, what is that? 330, 370, depending on your house, fixing it up. So then you can throw in a car. That's what he means. Right?
Yeah. So
And your mortgage. So you can pull out some money, say you again.
$5,000 after 10 months at 50 grand paying down on it's phenomenal, right? Everybody's like, well, vacation to Florida. Okay? Well, hey, if we work the system and we stay disciplined, eat beans and rice for 5 years, okay? We can tap money, take a vacation, but paying afterwards. You with me?
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop living.
Let the church say this.
Okay, but we got a system in place with a little bit of flexibility. But okay, now
Okay, so let's talk about the IUL.
let's talk about the IUL.
Let's have them write that down right there. Okay, so let's y'all write this down. Okay, let's go up to this one. IUL, not IOU. We be on everybody like you don't. IOU, no. IUL. Okay. See me out there laughing at us. IUL. Okay.
So that stands for Indexed Universal Life.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an insurance policy, so in parentheses put insurance policy. That'll help you remember.
So you can Google it, you can study it, like anything on Google or whatever. You're gonna hear stuff that bashes it, just like you hear, and you're gonna hear stuff that loves it. So
Let me tell a person.
don't. Okay, yeah.
Personal
Personal
testimony too on IUL. So let's see how I want to break it down. Okay, so think about, everybody know about insurance, right? Insurance policy, when you die, you leave the money to someone. Okay. So everybody knows the basic form of insurance. But let's say that you had a little bit more expensive insurance. Okay, it do cost more. I don't know why y'all think stuff is free. So you have an insurance product, or insurance policy, I'm sorry. And every time you make a payment, just like in a house, some goes 4 different ways. If you got a house, it goes towards principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And sometimes HOA, if it's built in. But same thing when it comes to this insurance policy. When you have an IUL policy, then a portion goes towards stock, towards investing in the stock market. The S&P 500, which is a real smooth, it doesn't go up and down. So it doesn't go up a lot. You're not gonna make a lot of money with S&P 5, but you're not also gonna lose a lot of money as well. And so it invests. So a portion, let's just say you spent $200. 150 will go towards investing every month, okay? And then the $50 will go towards guaranteeing that your death benefit is paid out when you die.
What's the start?
What's the start?
What's the minimum to get into that? Is there a minimum?
Well, that's so the IUL. That's if you want to do that separately. So my son, his bio is in here as well. He has a game today, so he couldn't attend. But my son is the insurance agent for our group. Okay, so it's a three-headed monster. We're all business partners, me, him, and my son. And so what we do is my son will get you an IUL policy out of the equity. And so that's what he's going to break down and talk about. There's no minimum. If you only want $80,000 to go to your death benefit or $100,000, you don't always have to leave $1 million. I got a couple different policies for different amounts. I've got the millions and I've got some little regular ones. I even, look my ex-wife up, so she'll get a little money, but she ain't getting as much as my kids. So you kind of like get to kind of say, what it is that you want to allocate, and then your premium is based off of that amount and your health. So I've had an IUL since I've been 23 years old. So you can imagine how much it has accumulated. In fact, I bought myself a truck not too long ago, cash out of the IUL, because both of my kids ended up getting a scholarship. So I had the IUL for their education. So both of them had their own house and had an IUL. So I kind of doubled down on their education just in case one didn't go, the way that I thought.
That's awesome.
And so I just said, I'm gonna pay myself back. My baby girl went to college last August. I'm gonna pay myself back and buy me something that I always wanted. And so they also have money for their wedding, and they also have money to borrow from their account when they get ready to get a house. But it all came from the IUL. So what we did was we married the program. This is a two-step program. It's not just to pay your house off so you can be rich and dumb. It's so you can be rich and turn it to being wealthy. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. But go ahead.
Well, that's good stuff. So conceptually, as you see, IUL premium is right below closing costs. You guys see that in the middle of the page there, IUL premium?
It's the last one.
It's in the middle of the page, but the last one in the estimated values, okay? So what we typically do, because you guys are already trained in your mind to spend $1,500, which is a few $100s more than the mortgage. So what we're doing is we're gonna reposition that mortgage that you're already in your mind gonna pay in the next 22 years. We're gonna take that and stick it into an IUL, and it's gonna give you X amount of death benefit. We really don't care. The death benefit is another, okay, we're trying to build wealth, cash flow.
Yeah.
So that $1,500, or you put $750 on your wife, $750 on you can do it however you want, okay? One of you might not be insurable. That does happen. It's not very often, okay? So we might put it all on one spouse. It just depends on the scenario. But in this scenario, I like putting $750 on the spouse, $750 on the other spouse, just as an example. But that $1,500, if you do that for 22 years, okay, flip the page. I mean, we already talked about it in whatever color that is, orange. Okay, we talk about, we're gonna help you pay, in this scenario, this customer that we're dealing with the numbers, they're gonna be able to pay their mortgage off in 5.6 years, which is 16.4 years faster. Okay, we're gonna save them $52,800 in what? Interest. We all know that if you run your interest out for 16 years and don't pay it off, you're gonna pay $52,000.
And let me say this real quick for 30 seconds. So, interest that you pay, you know that you're losing, right? That's money you lost. So in other words, instead of using the word interest, you can just say you lost. Instead of losing $52,000. That's what you do. Your interest is the definition of interest is what I got. Y'all know my colloquialism. I call it goofy tax. Somebody overcharged me, I'm like, you must think I'm paying this goofy tax. So interest is goofy tax. That's what you're paying because you ain't got the cash.
Well, not only that you lost that money, but look at what would it be worth over a 22-year period? It's actually $100,000. If that makes any sense, if you know how money works, that's a long story. Here's what's exciting, guys. That $1,500 we were positioning into an IUL, do you believe this person that is, this scenario was 40 years old when they13,000 we stuck $1,500 into the IUL. At 65, we're going to give back him and her $13,500 a month in a pension tax-free income.
Hold on, where you at?
Or we created $162,000 of annual or $13,500 monthly. That's incredible.
That's an orange.
It's in orange, right in the middle there. Create $162,000 or annually, one or the other, however you want to take it out. Okay? So the point is, all that $1,500 for 22 years has been what? Growing. And what I love about it, it grows in an index fund. The index fund protects you from the market.
Index is IUL.
Okay, that index fund in the IUL, okay, it's insured by the insurance companies. Insurance companies all about ensuring that your money's gonna be there. Really.
Right. So we got 10 minutes.
Okay, so catch this. When the market goes up, we participate in the indexing. When the market goes down 20, 30%, we stop at what? 0, floor.
Everybody write stop loss now.
Okay, stop loss. I love this because the older I get, the less risky I can take. And everybody in this room, you want to build wealth. I don't know if everybody remembers, I was living in 1987 when the market crashed. Right out of college, had no money, but I remember it clearly. 1987 was a massive market crash. 2000, the dot-com was a major market crash. There was one in the 90s too, and then 2008, everybody's old enough to remember that one in this room. 2008, 2009 was devastating. If you had $1 million or 100,000 in the market, you were down 40% minimal. So your million went to 600,000. Your 100,000 went to 60 grand. You know, it takes 10 years or more to get back even. Well, we don't have time for that anymore. Most of us are in our age. We don't have 40 years to work anymore. Okay? Indexing is awesome because it protects from the loss and you get to participate in gains.
Damn.
It's really a great product.
It's just like saying I want to live life and only be on vacation.
Yeah.
And then I get to sleep whenever there's hard times in the world. Yeah. So I love it.
I know there's a lot of questions.
Mike,
here.
you got a question? Mike, so we have. Yeah,
We'll do some one-on-ones here because I know we're wrapping up the podcast, so to speak. But
hand Mike the mic. Mike the mic.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got okay. Oh, we got a question over
Excited
here.
over there. He right now, he excited.
Yeah, Mike wanted. We have a question over here.
I got one question.
Introduce yourself. Hold on.
My name is Eric. Earlier you said that we don't want to be rich, we want to be wealthy. And I actually don't know the difference. I thought you was wealthy when you was rich. So
I love that. I love that.
it's the difference.
I love that. That's a great question.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. So the difference between rich and wealthy, rich is when you have money that's undirected. You have money, but you don't have the information. So a rich person is gonna have the difference. I'll tell you the telltale sign. A rich person will have a lot of money in their bank account. A wealthy person will have a lot of investments out there. So like people come to me and I be like, man, I'm not too much money right now. I'm not 300,000 right now. I can't really do that. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. But if I was rich, if I only had the rich mindset, then I would have that money in the bank, but it wouldn't be working for me. So when inflation goes up, then you lose money. So I'll give you another example, and let me know if I'm bringing it home. I can use many examples. But another example is that the cost of eggs did not go up recently. Okay, I know y'all think the eggs went up, right? Y'all would agree? The cost of eggs did not go up. The value of the dollar went down. So it costs more to consume the same things. I think we just spent probably like $150 on our brunch, right? Like think like $50 for oxtails. I remember oxtails used to be $19.99 back in the day, right? Right. So. Oh, she said I paid $100. She said my bill was $1,000.
The general manager.
Yeah. He right. Hey, it was great. It was worth it. But don't give my bill to the woman in the on shirt over there.
Sir, so go ahead and your mic back real quick. Hey, real quick before we're ending up here, I want to share with you the last 2 pages of the amortization tables, guys. And you can study this as you will. But the first 3 columns on the left. Month 1.
Hold on, so what page is that?
This is page
2
of 8.
Okay.
Below the orange box. On the first 3 columns is the mortgage-free life. Okay? So, look, we're going to pay off your existing mortgage and start over. Okay? We're going to pay it off with the HELOC and start over. You're going to accumulate an interest payment. And we're going to take that $10,000 of income and press down on that interest payment, right? And the expenses. So that $6 grand of expenses included the interest payment of the new HELOC and your expenses. Okay? But just conceptually on the right, well, the other where it says current mortgage schedule, this is the traditional way. Okay? 5.6 years, guys, is 67 months.
Hold on, let's break it down a little bit more.
Go back. You want to break it down a little bit more?
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. Maybe like 2 minutes. So guys, look in the cumulative interest column. Y'all see that? That's the 4th column. It says both graphs have the cumulative interest count part. Y'all see that? All right. So that's what he's talking about. We call it FML. Okay. MFL, mortgage free life. So MFL, you got 2190. Y'all see that? And then if you go over, you see 673. Go ahead and explain. I just wanted to point that out.
No, that's great. I didn't know how much time we had left, but once again, gang, you know, we talked about keeping our income on top of that interest in that checking account. If you do that, look how quicker you're gaining equity. Okay, and you're paying down on interest versus over here, it just...
Okay, break down the equity right quick. Which column you're referring to when you tell them that they're accumulating equity?
Well, that would be the available balance.
Perfect.
Okay.
So if you just look at the available balance on both graphs, you'll see. Right. Because regular banks are not for the people, so you pay more interest. You're paying them to borrow the money from them, but you hadn't paid off the house. So I'm gonna break that down, Eric. I know you don't have a mortgage yet, so I'm gonna break that down. So every time you make a payment, so let's just say $1,000 on your house, okay? $200 will go towards knocking down the principal. So let's say you owe $100. If you knock down $2,000, then you owe what? $99,800. The second month you paid another $200 towards it. Because when you paid your $1,800 went towards interest, only $200 knocked the price of the house down.
Yeah.
So you see how long it would take to gain interest? I mean to gain equity, meaning that to gain the power to sell your house and make a profit, right? You have to pay it all the way down to about $50,000 to sell $100,000 and really walk away, feel like you win. But with this program, you're knocking down more principal every month.
That's the key. So if you turn the page to 3 of 8, in the orange box we said 5.67 years, right? Well, that equates to 67 months. In 67 months, we're done. It's 0.
Wow.
Right? So that last payment is $46.15, so the next month it'll wipe out the 0. If you take your eyes to the right, this is the traditional amortization table of the banks.
Wow.
Look how much long, we're only at 218, we still got a long way to go to pay off our mortgage. Matter of fact, if we talk about months, because I didn't want to print 8 pages additional of just amortization tables, right? But if we just draw that out, it's 264 months and we're out at 67 months. Is it crazy?
Why are the loan balances starting out at 2 different numbers?
Well, the loan balance is because, remember, if we stuck with our traditional mortgage, which was $270,000, in the example on the first page, remember?
At the 67 months, it'll only be at 218.
So one saying do nothing, just do it the traditional way, which is we owe $270,000, which is right here, right? Okay. Remember, when we go to the HELOC, we're going to pay off that mortgage and start over. Okay? We're going to start over.
I think it's also worth noting that they're not just teaching you how to pay off your mortgage quicker. They're having you to diversify right away when you start to gain money.
Yeah. Come on.
So it's actually like double or triple when you put all the numbers together. When you start looking at everything. So I think that's something that needs to be pointed out.
Very good point.
Because just to save it is nothing.
Yeah.
But where you gonna put it?
And again, BYOB, the bank does it. The bank will pay somebody. Y'all be thinking that the bank tellers are smart. They only making like $16,000. So they'll have somebody come in, they'll pay, let's just say they have about 6 people in the bank. So they're probably paying about $200,000 a year for all those salaries in the bank. And then the rest of the money is going towards investments. Oh, they light bill, but corporations get discounts on lights anyway, so it's not as much as your house is. Why y'all thinking that?
Yeah.
Why do you think when you pass by a restaurant or a big bank, national chain, all the lights on so they can see the depth inside? They ain't trading their energy costs to keep the theft prevention down. They're not paying the same rate. So anyways, banks are just spending a fraction of the money they get, and then they're investing the rest. And so how do they invest? This is my point right here. I said all that to say this point. How are they investing? They're investing about 5 different ways. Mortgages, home improvement loans, they get like auto loans, they get like equipment loans. Equipment is if you had a company, you needed a crane to put in a high rise, or you needed a copy machine at your office. They also do life insurance.
Business loans.
What's that?
Business loans.
Business loans. So they do about 8 to 10 different loans with your money that's sitting behind this counter, sitting behind this cabinet. And so what we're doing is we're trying to teach at least 2. Okay?
That's right. IULs.
We got
Real
like 2 minutes
quick.
left.
Real quick.
and then we go into question and answer for like 5 minutes.
The older I get, the more I realize how taxes is so crucial. Why? Because now I'm at the distribution stage of my life. Okay, I'm a lot older than I look. Okay,
Yeah.
but I work.
Yeah,
I've been around the block.
The black,
Okay.
Houston's not a real place.
Rubbed off on you.
Hey, all I'm saying is I worked in the corporate world for many years, and I stuck money in IRAs and 401ks. But you know what? I couldn't do anything with it. It's trapped, right? And then I thought, well, heck, now that I turned 60 last year, I get to finally, at 59 and a half, you can start using it, okay? And then they're like, well, now you got to start paying taxes on the gain.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, the tax situation, guys, the older you get, is really unbelievable. So what I want to tell you is the IULs is one of the only tools that you're allowed to go in and start distributing money out of that cash value tax-free. It's one of the greatest loopholes out there. So when you hear all this bull crap about, hey, IULs, they take, that's too costly. It's a cost of insurance. It's this. You could grow your money faster in the market. And I'm like, I'm living proof. Because, you know what? The market is like this. Can you imagine retiring the day the market crashed? Right? You can't time that stuff. I don't care. When it's an IUL, if it crashes, I stay even. More importantly, when you start taking that $13,000 out a month, $10,000 a month, it's tax-free. Taxes are unbelievable the older you get, how it starts really jamming you. And that's the other thing that we could get in forever. But that being said, it's a pleasure meeting you guys. I know we're rounding. Huh? That's a Q&A now?